Okay.
It's me. I'll just change.
Okay, just change. Okay.
Let me.
No, don't mute your. You're mute. You're mute right now. Come down a little. You're looking at participant view. No. You're not mute. You're not mute. Leave it. Leave it. Put it back. You're not mute because when I speak, I hear back to.
Okay.
Yeah. All good. No, that's me. Okay, so like we have just like 3 minutes to get back and join the others.
Okay, Victor, we'll get started because it's right on time. We'll start, and then when you're ready, you can just join us.
We're ready. We're ready. We're joined already.
Okay. All right. We will get started. All right.
The video. You should know the video. You need to see our video. I will just want to introduce.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our series of financial literacy program. All right. It's a pleasure by having you here in this program. So I need to stop my annotation so it does not do this. This program is brought to you by Mind Treasures from USA and also in collaboration with our friends in Cameroon. When we have time, we will let them speak a little bit. If you can, please go ahead and change your name on the Zoom so we know where you're dialing in from. So as you can see, if you can put just only your first name and then country, and then if you are attending with team members like family members or others, you can add a team member at the end. We do have several members from Mind Treasures group in here, and you can see them. Their names are start with the first name USA and then MT. That stands for Mind Treasures. So we will begin our program with the opening prayer. O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily thou art their helper and their Lord. Baha'u'llah. All right, so a little bit of information about Mind Treasures and about the program, and then we will proceed to start with the financial literacy education. So Mind Treasures is an NGO or a nonprofit organization, as we refer to them in US. Our main programs are in public primary schools. That's where we mostly, prior to COVID particularly, we have been doing our program in primary school, starting from grade 3. But then since the pandemic happened, we have expanded our program. Because now more and more people are comfortable in using virtual systems, we have been doing a lot of programs such as this, where we have members from all around the world join our virtual sessions. Currently, we are working with a lot of people in over 86 countries. It's a great endeavor to be involved with so many passionate people who care about financial education. The series that we are starting right now, it is being recorded, I hope. Let me just make sure. I know I said, okay, so it is recorded. We have received about 60 registrations from 15 different countries. You can see the list of the countries that are hopefully will be logging in. I don't see all, but many of the participants, about 20 of them, are in person in Cameroon. That is with our partner, Allied Africa, who organized the program. So they're in there, and we should have about 40 participants virtually. All right, so a little bit about financial illiteracy, just so we start to understand why we are even doing this. The financial literacy is a global pandemic. We like to think of it as something that it's a hidden problem. Everyone needs it. It's a necessary education of regardless of our social, economic, geographical, and ethnical realities. Doesn't matter where we live, how old we are, everyone needs to learn finances. And it doesn't matter whether we have a lot of money or not a lot. It's really something that everyone can benefit from and understand it. Often those that don't have enough material means need to learn how to live within the financial resources that they have. And those that they have it also need to understand that how can they use their resources for a betterment of humanity, not just themselves. So financial education is a lot about developing habits. There are technical aspects that everyone needs to learn. There are information about banking services, credit systems where it's applied. But mostly it's about habits that needs to be developed from very young ages. We also like to think that financial education must address not only the technical aspects of finances, but also the spiritual, psychological, emotional aspects of wealth acquisition, management, and utilization. We need to, as we will see, our program will touch upon all these different aspects in the program. It's not just, we will not just be talking about the technical aspects. So we will begin to, in the next hour, we will begin to learn how our material and spiritual affairs must be in harmony. So our program, the ABCs of Wealth that we'll be presenting, it has three distinctive elements. There is the spiritual foundation, as I mentioned, which we will begin in the next hour. There is a basic level that is mainly about developing habits, the correct habits that we need for our finances, such as learning how to save, invest, share, and spend. And then there are the advanced level, which will have mostly technical aspects, like how do we really budget. In the basic level, we will start by learning how to keep track of our finances. And then the basic and the advanced level, we actually create a budget. In this program, because it's multi-generational, we will be doing lesson plans from both basic and advanced level. So from the registration, majority of the participants in this program are going to be young adults. But then we also have a few youth. I'm not sure if they are present here, but we will get to hear from our participants in a short time. Something that's very important, not only about finances, but anything that we learn, it's, as I mentioned, it is about developing habits. So it cannot be just about listening to this presentation. And this presentation is not going to be a lecture. It's going to be interactive. We will have breakout rooms. We will have assignments, as some of you have seen. So we begin by listening to what our staff will be presenting. I will be presenting, and then several of other members of Mind Treasures team will also be presenting throughout the program. When we watch this presentation, we will remember. So going back in here, if we just listen to the presentation, we will forget. If we listen and then also see, we'll remember the information. But really, in order to learn anything, we need to actually do the assignments that are presented to us. And every lesson, you will see that we will have assignments and activities. As you have seen in the WhatsApp group, I've been encouraging everyone to complete their assignments. Thank you so much to those who have. But we wanted to make sure that we do it, learn how to actually use the Google Sheet. I know some people might have had some issues with doing the Google Sheet. And then lastly is about what we practice, we can teach to others. So being generous is not about just our time, our money, or our clothing that we don't need, or the food that we do not eat. It's also about sharing the knowledge that we will be gaining throughout this program and passing that on to other members of our family, neighborhood, and sorry, and society. So please take some time. When the assignments are given, take some time. Do not wait until the last hour, just an hour before the live sessions. Do the assignments as soon as you can with your family, with other people. All right, let's see, what do we have next? Okay, so before we get to that, I want to stop here and open it up, open up the chat, see if there's any question about the program, about what we've talked so far. So let me open up, chat is open. If you have any question, any comments at this point, we can do that. Victor, are you ready to say a few words about your team in Cameroon? And while we're waiting for Victor, this is the first time that we are doing a hybrid program, meaning that we have friends who are on site in person, and then also friends who are participating virtually. So it's very exciting for us. There's a lot of learning to take place. And so I don't see any question in the chat at this point. Everybody's quiet. I thought it was too early here in US to be participating in the chat. John asked what time it is here. We started at 7 a.m. So it's 7:11 a.m. here.
Hello, Alex.
Yes, Victor, you're online. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes. Are we still going to learn how to use the?
Yes, I will do that. But I will.
Are we still going to learn how to use the Google Sheets?
Yes, I will be sharing that. So we'll do that next. Unless if there are any questions, I guess not. There's no question. So I'm going to switch screen in here. I'm going to stop sharing, and we'll switch our screen. All right. So by now, everyone should have received two emails from us. One is the calendar invite that gives you the time for the 4 sessions that we're doing today, next Monday, and the following 2 Mondays. So those are the emails, and I would assume that everyone who's here who already received that because you were able to join in to the program. The second email that you had received was a link to the online worksheet that we will be using. So you're looking at the sample of a worksheet. It's basically a Google Sheet where we have included our entire material in there. So when you open the file, this is the screen that you will come up with. It has it's the table of content, which shows the different lesson plans. So each one of these, like human treasures, moderation, responsibility, these are all the lesson plans that we will be presenting throughout the program in there. The worksheet, there are some lessons that have videos. That's why there's a video link in here. Most likely because of the short amount of time that we have for every session, we will not be presenting any of the videos live, but at in your own time, we will ask you to watch the videos. Then again, there are assignments for every lesson plan. So if we were to go, like the first assignment that we gave everyone was to look at these questions. We will be going over these questions in the next hour. It was we ask you to please complete, contemplate on these questions and then provide your answers. So this one, there's a quote from Buddha, which says, if we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change. Then we ask the question, what is this miracle of a single flower? So as you would type, so you can only type in the spaces provided. So here, I'm just gonna begin typing something. So when you type, the system automatically saves. There is no button to push to save the material, to save your work. It automatically happens. And then it's also shared with us. So the way Google's Sheets work, it's a shared document. And we need to see your work. So you need to complete your assignment in your worksheet because in order to complete this program and receive a certificate, we need to see that you have done your assignments. There will not be a test on the assignments. I'm sorry for those who look forward on having tests, but we do not test on the information. Everyone will learn at their own pace, and what their understanding is. The information that we'll be presenting is a framework that we can use in our personal life, in our family life, in our community life. So that's how the Google Sheet works. I know many of the participants have already completed their first assignment, which was great. Thank you so much in doing that. So I want to wait here and see if there's any question about how we use the worksheet in the chat, or if your connection is good, you can also open your microphone. We have some time. I do see there's a question in the chat, but I need to get my chat up. Everyone is very quiet. All right, I'm going to open it up to our staff. We have, I know we have Irma, Jade, and Nari. If you guys want to share anything before we go into the breakout, I do share the schedule. Any points from our team, other members of the team?
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Irma, and I'm really thrilled to be part of this program because it seems that there's so much interest outside of the United States now. And it's really exciting to see how much interest the program is generating. And I really believe that this is an excellent way to share great information about finances and how it all ties into our spiritual aspects of our character. And I just want to say thank you so much for participating.
All right, thank you, Irma. So Nara, I'll give you the floor in a minute. There are some questions in the chat that I'd like to respond to. All right, so there's a question about Gina says that didn't understand the meaning of the first question. We will cover that in the next hour. So we will be going over those questions in the next hour. So no worry about it. Yvonne asked, how do I get the Google Sheet? You should have already received emails from us through your email. If you do not see it in your inbox, please check your spam. And throughout the breakout session, I will be able to send you a message through WhatsApp too. I can send you the link again. There's a question, will the sheet also sync with Excel? You can download the sheet, but we recommend not doing that. Don't download the sheet. It is basically an Excel format. But we need to, if you are expecting a certificate of completion at the end, you need to complete the assignments in the online worksheet. If you can download the worksheet into Excel form, but then we will not accept it. You cannot submit your work. You cannot send it to us. We need to use the online worksheet if you can. If you cannot use the online worksheet, please let us know, and then we will make amends. All right, so again, another question in the chat, how do I get linked to the Google Sheet? You should have received it in your email. If not, then that's why in the WhatsApp group, several times we have been encouraging the friends to check their email to make sure that they have received their Google Sheet. If you have not received it after this program is over, send us a message through WhatsApp and we will resend it to you again. Nari, would you like to chime in and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Nari. Nice to meet you all. We are very excited about this class, and I'll be talking with you more on the next session, so I won't take up too much time right now.
All right, thank you so much. That was short and sweet. All right, next, Jade, we'll come back to you. Next, what I'd like to do is share the—
Alex?
Yes.
Hazel's on as well.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw her. Hazel's on.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, there are getting to be a lot of participants. I need to put people up as co-hosts so that I can see them. All right. Okay. All right. So I want to share the schedule with you of how the format is going to be. And for those who are joining us, if you haven't already done so, please change your name on the Zoom to your first name and then the country where you're from, so we can see our friends where they're dialing in from different parts of the world. It would really help us, help everyone to see where they're dialing in from. As I mentioned early when we started, we do have registrations from 15 different countries. So we'd like to see all the countries on the screen. All right, so I'm going to share the schedule, not the screen. All right, to share my screen. All right, so this is one of the schedules that we have. Hopefully you can see it. Our plan is to do this format. So for every day, we have 3 one-hour segments that we will be presenting different topics in there. We will do a 30-minute introduction at the beginning of every session, present the material, and then we will have a breakout session, depending on how many friends we have, how many people are logged in. We will do 2, maybe 3 breakout sessions. Our friends in Cameroon who are attending in person, they will have their own breakout sessions. And then we will have specific questions for every group so they can work on it and then come back and present. So the next segment would be, we'll come back, the groups will come back from their breakout session. Hopefully they have selected someone, or if you have time, that can present 1 or 2 minutes about what they can discuss about the topic that they had. And then we have our friends in Cameroon said that we have to have energizers. They promised a song and dance and music. So they are responsible for getting us energized in between the sessions. And I have left 5 minutes before we start the next session in there. And this is also the first time where we are doing 3-hour sessions back to back. This is, we've never done this before. We normally do 1-hour sessions once a week or once a day. So we will see how this goes. Hopefully we do not exhaust everyone and everyone will be able to continue for the next hour in there. Jade, if you're available, can you come online and introduce yourself, please, before we go to breakout?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jade, and I just wanted to welcome everyone to the program. And as my other co-teammates had shared, that it is a wonderful program, and we have definitely seen the growth of the program over the time, and now are seeing it take off internationally over the last few years. And we are excited to share the information with you and to see your participation over the course, and to see the information be able to provide growth for you. And so looking forward to working with all of you, and just encourage you to participate as much as possible so that you get out of it really how much you put into it. And so be open and receive, and excited to be here with you all.
All right, thank you, Jade. I'm going to share my screen again, just one point that I forgot, which is when you open your worksheet, right in the table of content on the top in here, it lists the course syllabus. So if you open this file, I'll go back to it so you can see. This shows our daily schedule. So we're doing 3rd of May. The topics, the lesson plans that will be provided, who will be the facilitator for the session. There are learning objectives, points that we will be presenting. And then also there would be assignments that the only one that we did pre-assignment was the faith and finances, our initial goals. But then, as you can see, for next Monday, there are going to be quite a bit of assignments. So you will need to complete what the assignments that are provided today, and then also hopefully the assignments for next week. It might seem a little bit overwhelming, but please try your best again to do as many assignments as possible and as you can do. So again, when I go back to the table of content, if you click on the course syllabus, that's where we get in there. There's also, I'm going into, so it says basic level facilitator manual, but if you click on this link, it's a tab within the worksheet. This is where you have access to the printable versions of the material. So our full material is available to everyone at no cost. And the reason we do this is because we would like everyone to take the initiative of taking this material and presenting it to their community, to their family members, to their neighborhood, to their communities, to the schools. So these are the different languages that our program is available in. Not all aspects, not all different levels have been translated, but you can see what is available. So for example, if we do, I know we have friends from India. So if I open up the Hindi version, it will go to another Google Drive, which it will show the workbook in Hindi, the facilitator manual in Hindi, and then also we'll talk about the treasure box a little later. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. So we can go into our breakout session and see if there's any question up to this point before we go to our breakout sessions. All right, I don't see any questions in here. So This is my first time doing a breakout session, and it seems like we have only a few people that can that we can push into, and we have several devices that are logged in from Allied. Victor, can you come online, please? And are you guys ready for the breakout session?
Yes, Alex, we're there.
All right, you're there. All right. So let me just share my screen again, and we will. I will put out the questions, but then the staff member that will come in the breakout session with you, which seems like we're going to have more staff members than actually participants. They'll be presenting the questions for this section, and we have 10 minutes, and then we'll come back. So I'm going to share my screen again. All right. So for the first breakout session, these are the 4 questions that we have. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, so we can just kind of consult and think about them. This is a way for us to get to know each other. Since the breakout sessions are also going to be small, please feel free to get to know each other in those, and then we'll come back and present to the group. So let me close the participants, close the chat, breakout room. So I see, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so why don't we do 3 breakout sessions? And I will, okay, there we go. Let me, so I'm just doing the assignments. Please give me just a bit of a time. 2, and we have 3 Allied. Okay, all right, and we'll come back in 10 minutes. Okay. All participants have been invited to join. So please go ahead into your breakout room, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes. And
when you become an adult in this country at the age of 18, they start assessing your financial decisions. But you have to build that, because as a child, you're not really having any sort of credit established already. And so in college, a lot of times you have a lot of institutions that will try and heavily market towards college students, but aren't really sharing the actual knowledge and information on how to build their credit. So I made definitely some mistakes there in opening unnecessary accounts that and thankfully did not harm me too much, but I once I learned information and properly assessed what I needed. So that is my answer. I will open it up to, I don't know if we lost the group in Cameroon. Are you guys still there?
I think they're there. Do we need more time? Should we go for another 5 minutes?
Well, we had some kind of technological difficulties
Uh-huh.
in getting them kind of ready to go. And then, and then we lost, I don't know if you moved Prince from Ghana, but we lost Prince.
No, no, we lost her altogether. There's nobody out there at this point.
Okay. So I'm not sure, they haven't answered the question yet. We just went around and did introductions first.
Okay, so let me circle around other rooms and see how they're doing, and then I'll come back and see. We might go for another 5 minutes. All right.
Okay, got it.
As to who's going to benefit, my family will benefit greatly, and I'm targeting my church. I want to talk to the youth, not just the youth, even the adults, because I found out that so many of us, we have very poor understanding of financial literacy, and we try to spiritualize everything, but I realize that it's not just about spirituality. You just need to learn certain skills and discipline to break away from the poverty that actually is around us. And also, I also want to target
like in 5 years time, I don't see myself like to still be a person waiting on a month to end. You get a handout and you wait for the other month end. So apparently building a fitness program, and I want to build it in a way that I have a network all over Uganda before I can start to take it to some other parts of the world. Yeah, and one thought I normally have is I want to use money to make more money, not me physically toiling all the time to get money, rather put a structure in place. And I also want to venture into rehabilitation, especially developing the African side in pediatric rehabilitation. Because today I was actually comparing, like in other countries, some countries, someone with a disability can actually study, finish, they get a profession, you find they have a kind of living, which we are not having that much, especially here in my country. So I also want to put funds in that and having it work out.
Okay, great. Okay, Alex just sent a little message that we need to start to wrap up. So what I'd like to know is whether there's someone who wants to give the report for our group. I don't think it'll be too difficult because everyone who gave some feedback, this seems to be the group that wants potential billionaires. So if someone would like to give a report on just a little 1 minute report back to the rest of the group when Alex calls us back in on what we did, on what we talked about a little bit. Let's see, who's gonna be our representative? I don't see any hands up.
Okay. Thank you, John Paul. That was excellent. I just wanted to say thank you all of you for putting thought into your responses and for looking at the deeper issues of the need of financial literacy. We're going to leave our breakout rooms within a minute, and we will be returning to the main session automatically. So I just wanted to say I applaud all of you for participating, and I believe this is going to be a really excellent series of classes. I'm so excited to see so many of you from so many different places. This is wonderful. And I look forward to sharing this information with you. I'm sorry, Alan from Uganda, I'm sorry, we won't have any time to hear your responses to the question, because in about 10 seconds, we're going to be returning back to the main session. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to the rest of our series with you all.
All right. Well, hello, everyone, back again. I had a chance of going through different rooms. It seems like it was vibrant. Everyone was engaged. I felt that it was a great experience. Can't wait to hear from you guys. So we have about 10 minutes. Sorry, let's make it a little shorter because we let the breakout rooms go just a little longer. So let's see which one of the breakout rooms would like to go first. All right, I'll just assign. So Nari, do you have a representative from your breakout room?
Actually, Alex, I do not, because, but you'll understand. Okay. We had a very good discussion, and we had different people explain our question was, what are your kind of big picture goals? And we had 4 different people actually, and their big goal was to become a billionaire, or in one case, a multi-billionaire. But each of them had really specific reasons for why they wanted to do that, whether it was being able to have more money for those in need, whether it was assisting with disaster relief or sponsoring projects. Another one wanted to be able to really stabilize and strengthen Christianity, because he felt like if the church was more stable and better, then society would be better. And then another person wanted to not have to depend on a salary. And she's into rehabilitation, physical rehab, and fitness. And so wants to be able to expand that into a business to make people healthier, et cetera. And so when we got to the end and I asked who, after each of them, presented all these great ideas, I asked who was going to present the report. And like the executives that they plan to be, they decided that I could do that for them. Yeah, so they've already got a staff. Okay, is what I figured out.
Very good. Thank you so much. That was great. So just before we go on to the next breakout room, couple of things I'd like to mention. So as you can see, we have our friends in Allied Africa that's part of the group. So they've done a great job of having multiple devices so they can attend. Again, this is very exciting. Also, I want to make sure that everybody knows that we do have, this is a multi-generational program that we're doing. And I wish I could take credit for designing it this way, but it just came about this way. So right now we have Juliana from South Africa who's attending with her parents, along with her mom, Daniela, and dad, John. So it's very exciting to have such a great diversity of groups and also ages. All right, Jade, you're up next with your group.
So our group, we had some technical difficulties. However, everyone did answer the question. They just weren't able to share. They wrote it down. So I will actually turn it over to Victor and have a couple of them share what they wrote down, because I was not able to get everyone to hear everyone's response.
Jade, here we are. We have Achimbi.
Hi, Jade. Okay, the financial mistakes I've made was not being able to take down records of my financial, like not being able to write down to my financial expenses, not taking proper records of how the business was going. Thank you.
Next person.
Financial expenses.
Yeah, I'm Flavis. Yeah, one of my financial mistakes I've made and I learned from it is getting involved into financial transaction without counting the cost. That is, if something come up, you just spend without thinking, without analyzing, you just go ahead because you have the money. So I learned from that.
Hello, Jade, it's Schneider. Well, for my financial mistakes, I have a problem of saving money, and also my weekly record is very poor.
Hey. Hello, Jay. I'm Deborah. One of my financial difficulties or mistakes was spending more than investing. So I discovered that I really spend much in other things than investing in myself, in my business. So that's what I've learned from.
Okay, so Jade, that's what we had from this side. Maybe we get back to session.
Great. Thank them each for sharing, please. That was great.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Irma, your group?
Yes, our group was excellent. We had participation from each individual in our breakout session, and each one answered the question, who will benefit most from learning financial literacy? And Daniel was saying, I'm going to share this with university students because we need the tools of financial literacy to continue past our educational goals and incorporate those skills as well. And Yvonne from Canada wanted to make her church group stronger by adding tools to financial literacy so that everyone would benefit in her life that way. And John Paul from South Africa was offering that, you know, we needed these tools because, especially because of the pandemic, we have learned that, you know, not only, you know, people with, you know, that have affluence, you know, as well as people that do not, that it goes across the board. We all need these skills. And Daniel from Nigeria also offered that he wanted to learn these skills too for, you know, children and to share that later on with others. And so we had a very lively discussion. It was really excellent. And Alan from Uganda was not able to participate. So I don't know if we had a sound issue, but it was a great discussion.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. It sounds like the breakout sessions Okay, all right, so we don't get any feedback. All right, we have 8 minutes before the end of this hour. So this is the time where we take a little break before we start the next session. Victor, you promised us energizers. Are you ready to do that, or are we just gonna take a break? Let's see what we get.
Okay.
All right.
So the energizer we're going to get now, is everybody there? Can everybody get us?
Yes, I think we all.
Okay.
I think we all.
So the energizer we're going to get now, is everybody there? Can everybody get us? You want to reduce the echo? Okay, that's good. That's good. So the energizer we're going to get is called Big Daddy. Normally, it's just for opening session. That's why we have all the tables and everything set, as you can see. But when we go to normal sessions, it's just a round chair, no table. We put chairs all around, since we'll be walking a lot with activity and dancing and all the rest. So we'll get the energizer today. It's called Big Daddy. Okay, so we'll count all around. Start here. I'm Big Daddy. No, you can stand over there, Leslie. Okay. So this is how it goes. Big Daddy sends to any number. So there's Big Daddy 1, 2, 3, 4. You Can we get the numbers? Leslie, Leslie is 1. You are 7.
11.
Okay, so I'll say Big Daddy to Big Daddy 5, and then Big Daddy 5 can either send back to Big Daddy or to another Big Daddy in the group. And if you give a number that the person's already out or the person is not there, then you step out of the group. We do that until we have one person who wins as the Big Daddy. Okay, so can we get a clap? 1, 2, 1. Big Daddy, Big Daddy. When I say Big Daddy, you answer Big Daddy. Big Daddy, Big Daddy. No, you answer Big Daddy once. Big Daddy, Big Daddy. Big Daddy, Big Daddy. Big Daddy 1 to Big Daddy to Big Daddy 3. No, you say Big Daddy 4 to Big Daddy 5. Okay, or to any other Big Daddy. Okay, let's start all over. Big Daddy, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, Big Daddy. Big Daddy 1 to Big Daddy 5.
Big Daddy, Big Daddy, Big Daddy.
That's Big Daddy 5. She doesn't know. Okay, Big Daddy 5. Okay, you go out. Okay, Big Daddy, Big Daddy. Come on, Big Daddy, Big Daddy. Big Daddy 1 to Big Daddy 8. Okay. Big Daddy, no, this is Big Daddy 8 because Big Daddy 5, yes. When 5 went out, you became 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10. That's it. So Alex, are you getting our Energizer? Okay.
I'm getting it, but this is becoming a big math game. I'm not going to remember what number went out.
When 5 went out, you became 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10. That's it. So Alex, are you getting our Energizer?
Yes, I'm definitely getting your Energizers. This is fun. I wish we were there with you guys.
Pardon?
I said I wish we were there with you to do the Big Daddy together. Can you hear me? Oh, you went muted.
It sounded to me like they all were the Big Daddy. I don't.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. That's exactly what it sounded like. Okay. So while they complete their Big Daddy, why don't we all take a little break, like 3-4 minutes break before we start the next session, and then we'll be right back. So we got 3 minutes just to stretch and come back so we can start the next session. Please be back on time.
Alex, are you still there? Alex? Oh, he was serious about taking a break.
When you risen for our and you hate on your brother or sister, remember we all one. And it might get back to you one day. Listen, don't wait fear. Listen, no respect. Encore les mêmes choses. Pourquoi les mêmes choses? Toujours les mêmes choses. Pas nous bloquer. Et encore les mêmes choses. Pourquoi les mêmes choses? Toujours les mêmes choses. Pas nous bloquer.
Yeah, sing it like yeah. Frérot, c'est comment?
Because God put them there for us. And it also gets us back to our priorities. You know, what's the most important thing for us to spend our time on? And we really got to make sure we're prioritizing the right things. And that last verse in this Miracle of a Flower, that the highlighted part says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things should be added unto you. And we all know stories of people that worked really hard and became really rich and were miserable. You know, people like Howard Hughes and others that over history, that money didn't make them happy. They may have made a lot of money, but their life wasn't necessarily a good life. And so we really want to make sure we've got the right priorities and that we're putting the first things first. And then money will come if we're doing what we need to be doing spiritually. We can't let the material overtake what's important for us spiritually. Okay. Any other comments on that Miracle of a Single Flower? Okay, so we're going to keep going. And our purpose is incredible. So many people don't recognize what their purpose is in life. So many people are searching for, why am I here? What's my purpose? And so we definitely want to talk a little bit about that. If you could put your purpose in the chat, that would be awesome. And you can put a general, what is the purpose of people, or you can put what you think your individual purpose is, either one, okay? And what we need to ask ourselves is, where are we putting in a lot of effort, but we're not seeing any results? That could be because we aren't lining our purpose up with spiritually and materially. And so that could be why we might be spinning our wheels sometimes. So Yvonne says, to love and help to build God's kingdom. So, and see, if that's your purpose, then a lot of the decisions you make financially are going to relate to that purpose. Whether it's your decisions on how to make money or your decisions on what you'll do with your money are going to depend on what you see as your purpose. In our breakouts, where people talked about what their big picture goal was, or some of the other questions, a lot of the times your answer was based on what you think your purpose is, or on how you see the world, what your priorities are. Okay. And we've had a lot of people in this class that have mentioned how they want to help others or how they want to make a difference. That relates back to our purpose. Let's see, and then let's go down a little bit further in our, so we want to prepare for the next stage of life, because we know that just living however many years on this planet is just a drop in the bucket of our eternal life, of our spirit, of our soul. And so we know there's a lot more than that. And that's why we have these different quotes that I really encourage you to spend a little time on them. And we can't go through all of them in this limited amount of time because there are so many things we want to talk about with you. But if you notice, go down to number 11, and it talks about how we acquire things and how we obtain gifts and powers. And there are 7 items here from the Baha'i writings. And the first one is a knowledge of God, through the love of God, through faith, through philanthropic deeds, through self-sacrifice, through severance from this world. Meaning you ought to be able to separate yourself from TV, video, music, separate yourself from all the stuff that is bombarding you, especially in our world where everything's online and there's so much, that's hitting your senses. And then by doing that series of things, by the 7th, you get to sanctity and holiness. And that's where you really are set aside. Sanctity means being set aside for a purpose, right? And so that's why this all goes together. You need to really understand your purpose. What were you set aside to accomplish? Daniel says he wants to make an impact on others' lives. That's great. What kind of impact? That's where you want to dig a little deeper. What kind of impact? Is it a spiritual impact, a social impact, a financial impact? There are people that have a negative impact on others' lives. There are people that have a positive impact on others' lives. And so we really want you thinking through all of this because mind treasures and wealth is about more than how much money is in the bank or how much money you earned. There are a lot of other treasures besides financial treasures. And there are a lot of other ways to make a difference in the world than making a lot of money. And Janam says, I want to make a mark in this world. And this is where you want to start really thinking about what kind of mark, what is the mark that you want to make? What kind of difference do you want to make? So thanks for all of you who helped us out with some specific examples in the chat that we could use for this discussion. Alice, can we go back over to the initial goals now?
There was also, Risto had a response. He says, our purpose is to love, know God, and to eat God's teachings every moment of our life, when one can see us and when no one can see us. So that's,
I like that, especially when no one can see us.
When no one can see us. And I wanted to add something in here before we go further, is that the principles, the spiritual principles that we are sharing, as you can see, they're all from different religions, which all have a common background. We are not preaching or imposing any particular religion or teaching to anyone. I think this group is pretty much very spiritual, but if someone does not believe in any part of this, we are not, again, imposing any particular idea on you. But this is what we have been able to find from different world religions, that they all talk about the same thing, as Nari mentioned, that our material and our spiritual lives are like two wings that have to fly together, they have to flap together. Most of our lives, we have either concentrated on our spiritual stuff or on our material stuff. We hardly ever bring them together. So that's why we are doing this. All right, back to you.
Okay, great. All right, so can we back out back to the slides?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So I want to talk through some of these goals, and some of you guys had some pretty good ones. So we've talked about the miracle of a single flower. The next one is spiritual and material goals that you would like to accomplish in your lifetime. And if you could enter your response to that in the chat. And is Lucky online? Lucky had goals that I was hoping I'm assuming it's a he, but it could be a she.
It's a she. Lucky's a she from Uganda.
Oh, that's cool. I have a cousin named Lucky, so that's why my first response was to assume it was a male, but I realized it could be either. Okay,
No,
so,
I think we lost her.
oh no.
I don't see her on the participant list.
Oh, okay, that's a bummer. Okay, will someone else like to share their spiritual material goals?
I'm gonna put that in the chat.
You can type it in the chat, or you can, oh, Janam, I would like to accomplish a goal of becoming a cricketer. I want to collect as much money as I can for building schools and homes for the poor and the needy. All right, well, that's great. So there's a professional goal, and by being successful in your profession, you then have a goal of what to do financially. So that's good. Juliana would like to live in a mansion.
And remember, Juliana is the youngest member of this team.
Okay.
She's only 9.
Awesome. Well, but that's a great goal. Now you have to have the goals under that, Juliana, of in order to live in a mansion, what are some of the things that it would take to do that? There's a certain amount of money.
Here comes Juliana.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Juliana.
great. Tell us. Juliana? We lost her?
Work. Make money.
Tell us again.
I think her connection is not strong enough.
Money.
You have to make a lot of money. What are some of the ways you might want to make that money? What are some of your interests?
To invest.
Okay, you want to invest. And so are we talking about investing in this class? I believe so. Aren't we in one of the later classes, Alex?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, good. So we're going to be talking about that in one of the later classes. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you. Elliot says he has a spiritual goal, will love to attain eternal life. Physical goals, want to be an influential figure. And so Elliot, what kinds of ways do you want to be influential?
So while we're awaiting his response, Daniel says, my spiritual goal is to help share the gospel of Christ to others. My material goal is to help others by realize their potential through care and giving.
Okay, great. And Elliot says he wants to be an influential figure in education. That's great. Like almost everyone can probably think of a teacher, for instance, that they may have had, or someone in life, whether maybe it was, an elder in your family, a grandparent or something, who taught you something important that has been with you throughout your life. So we can have a lot of influence on others through education and through our social life by just being around them. Risto says, my material goal, I would like to build an orphanage, hostels for homeless people. Badly, I would like to become a pastor. That's my spiritual goal. All right, and so there's a lot of influence you would have on the lives of others with those goals. Awesome. Okay. The next one, what are my desires and temptations? Does anyone, let's enter those in the chat. Desires and temptations. And Juliana said she would like to be a self-made millionaire. And Juliana, if you get a chance, type in the chat, how would you be a self-made millionaire? How would you make your millions? Let's see.
All right, so I'm putting the next question in there. What are my desires and temptations?
Desires and temptations.
Both positive and negative. Some people look at temptations only in a negative way, and some only look at it as a positive way, but we can have, I think, both positive and negative.
And desires definitely can be positive. A lot of the things you guys are saying, desiring to help others, desiring to be financially successful doesn't have to be negative. It's better than, being someone that needs help. You rather be the person who can help others, right? So desires and temptations definitely don't necessarily have to be negative, but you do need to be aware of your negative desires and your negative temptations so that you can, get a handle on those and make sure they're not drawing you away from having a successful life. Yvonne says one of her desires is to live debt-free, And one of her temptations is giving away too much and putting my finances at risk. So yeah, we need that balance in life. And that's one of the lessons we're actually going to be doing on moderation later in the class in the coming weeks. Let's see. Elliot says, my desire is to be a safe spot where everybody can just vent out their fears and feel safe. That's awesome. So you will be a person that people really want to be around. Daniel, my desire is to live a fulfilled life on earth. My temptation is many times I trust easily. Yeah, that's where we need that balance. We need discernment, which is a biblical principle, along with that trust. My desire is to be financially free, not having a 9-to-5 job, traveling when I want to. My temptation is not paying attention to how much I spend, not knowing how much I spend at any point in time. Well, Faith, hopefully by the end of this class, you will have a better handle on managing your money, being very aware of tracking your money. And because that's part of what we'll be talking about is some tools to really get a handle on that. So hopefully that will really assist you as we proceed through this class. I had a question. Paul had put in on the, oh wait, I don't want to jump the gun. We're on the, do I worry about tomorrow's meal or next month's mortgage and rent? So did anyone want to share about that? Do I worry? And Risto, I actually wanted you to share your response in that one. I liked that, and it kind of went back to our opening. So did anyone want to share whether they worry about tomorrow's meal?
Larry, we got 6 minutes. So
okay. So Risto said he doesn't really worry about things like that. And it reminded me of one of the verses that we did at the intro, which is the Matthew 6:30 through 33, which talks about not worrying. If you're trusting God, then you don't have to worry so much. So let's keep going though. I seem a little bit off here. Okay, and then Inta said, don't worry, I don't worry, I play sports. So I guess that's kind of a stress reliever for Inta. Let's see, we need to, okay, so you want to start figuring out the breakout? Is that what you're saying, Alex?
No, I'll do that in the background. So we still have like 5 minutes, I think.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, just wrapping up.
So how do we spend our free time? While he's doing that, you can type in the chat, or you can unmute and raise your hand, or so that we can, what are some ways that we spend our free time? And I like that Daniel says, I don't worry, but I do think about the future. Yeah, you can plan without worrying. And a lot of times people worry, but they don't necessarily plan. Yvonne says she spends her free time on trainings like this. Okay, that's a good use of your time, Yvonne. Great. Anyone else? What are some of the things we do with our free time? And self-learning, okay. Working out, that's a good use of your free time. Practicing cricket to achieve your goal. I like that, Janelle. That's good. Very focused. Do you or your family volunteer your resources, your time, your expertise, your knowledge, talents, etc., for the betterment of other people's lives? If yes, where and how? Juliana likes playing. That's fun, Juliana. I like playing too. If it's free time, let's go play. Daniel, spend my free time meditating and training. Okay. How about spending does anyone spend time, especially with you and your family, volunteering? Risto does singing. Well, I hope we hear that when we do our creativity lesson, Risto. And those of you that do sports or exercising, we can hopefully hear more about that. Faith spent her extra time working on developing a side hustle for herself. Let's see, skating. Skating's fun. That's one of my favorite things to do with the youth is taking them to the skating rink, although we haven't been able to do that for the past year because of COVID. The Lloyd family, reading and watching Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. Okay, so that's fun, doing entertainment with your family. Okay, what about, Yvonne said, yes, we all volunteer. I currently serve on 3 different boards. Okay, Yvonne is busy. That's awesome. But that's good, especially if you have expertise and talents, using it to help other organizations or other people is a great thing to do. Alex, are you ready to?
Yes, I'm ready. So the breakout rooms are ready. I'll send out everyone in a few minutes. So we'll do the breakout rooms a little different this time. We'll have all the friends who are in person in Cameroon be in one room. And then everybody else, we have about 8, including our staff in the other, so 8 per the other room. But just to wrap up this portion in here, just a summary of what we did. It's so important to align our spiritual and material lives together. Again, we've always done them separately. We've either gone to our houses of worship, whether it's a synagogue, a mosque, a church. It's like, okay, that's my spiritual time. And then we come out and we do our work time. Well, they have to be combined together. And as the scriptures have said from all other religions, it's like our time should not be consumed with worrying about life necessities. It's a very difficult concept to grasp because that's how we are raised. From the time when we are born, we think about food, water, clothing, shelter, and health. Those are our life necessities. But then clearly the scripture says, no, we don't need to do that. And so what happens if we get to a point, and that is many people look at that as being financially independent. If we can get to a point where we don't worry about our life necessities, then what do we do with our time? And that's the question we were asked. Then we concentrate our time in betterment of humanity. And that's what our program is all about. Everything that we are learning, all the tools that we will learn, all the experiences that we'll gain together is going to be not only to create a safe and happy life for ourselves, for our family, but also for our neighborhood, for our community, and the entire world. So keeping that in mind, that is the overall goal. And we started with this because this is our foundation. That's what we're starting. We're not just starting, this is how you open a savings account or how you create a budget or how you get rid of debt. We will get to all of those, but all of those come under this umbrella of how we need to set our life. Okay.
So Alex, can I, just to wrap up all those things you just said, think of it in terms of 2 questions. How has your faith or lack of influenced your finances? Or how could your finances affect your faith, whether positive or negative?
Yep. Okay, very good. So here comes the breakout rooms. We have 10 minutes and we'll come back together in 10 minutes. Good. Have fun.
Hi, Alex. So I think you split the groups in Cameroon into 2 separate rooms. Are you there, Alex? Okay. Alex, can you hear me?
To share, because it's always been from I was a little girl, this has always been something that intrigues me, interests me, and like understanding why people do what they do when it comes to money. And so when I learned that parable, I started to think, okay, what are my talents? Like, what's my purpose here on earth? You know, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And I just circle back always to that verse. I need to learn the verse. I should put that as part of my goals.
Excellent, excellent. And I always enjoy seeing the metaphor in a teaching. And at times, you know, I have thought of the hidden talent and how we have been given gifts. And in our next class, we will talk about that. And, you know, what do we do with our gifts? Do we hide them, or do we realize our potential by developing the gifts that the master has given us? So that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Juliana, I don't know if you would like to answer this question.
Yeah.
Yes, the question is, are there any teachings in your faith that relate to financial literacy? Is there something
I don't understand the question.
Yes, it's a question about what you learn in your faith teachings that might teach you about how to manage your finances. If this
dealing with customers, especially in a buying and selling operation. So that's awesome, because you gave a very specific example of how our faith can affect our finances. Are we going to deal honestly with our customers? Is our faith in God going to influence how we do our business dealings? That is something that makes a big difference. You know, you might make different decisions about who you will do business with, maybe. The same way Risto was saying, your faith could affect even what kind of student you are. Okay. Someone else have an example maybe of how when we have a lack of faith, how that could affect our finances. Risto? Risto? Are you know? Okay, does someone else want to kind of chime in on this and give us their perspective?
Yes, I want something.
Yes.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much. I'm joining in from Cameroon. I would like to mention that sometimes our faith, how our faith affects our finances. I give an example where they preach a lot in the church that you need to sow, you need to save, you need to sow. And it happens where you give a lot of your finances without thinking that it's not only about giving the finances, you have to equally be consistent in the work you are doing.
Yeah,
because it is from the work you do that brings in the finances that you are able to sow into the kingdom to contribute to build God's kingdom. So we need to put a balance, because we have instances where you want to be faithful in your work, and the pastors or the church leaders will be like, no, you need to pay more attention to God's work, but at the same time expect you to give enough finances to push God's work forward. So you need to be able to balance that. It is the work that gives the finances that gives to the Lord. So there's always supposed to be a balance there.
That's very good. I like that there's, and you need to recognize, I mean, if God has called you to be in business, then you're being faithful to God by focusing on maybe your business, even if it's a grocery store, people need to buy groceries. And so you're not being unspiritual if you know God, called you to write books or whatever it is God has called you to do. Everyone can't be a preacher at the church, or else nothing else will get done on the planet, right? So someone's got to build cars. And
I believe that God, Jesus is my Lord, so he's the owner of my wealth, everything. So because of that belief and that revelation, it makes me understand that everything I have is for God. So I take instruction and God's leadership on how to use my finances. And also the faith has influenced me in a way that finances cannot control me, cannot control the way I do my things, because materialism is a very strong problem, like we know in the Bible about mammon, make people to do any type of thing because they want to have money. So my faith has influenced me not to do negative thing, to have money in the wrong way. So I get the money according to the word of God, and the money comes at the right time and it's used for the advancement of the kingdom of God. So that's how my faith has influenced me. Somebody else?
That was great, Emmanuel. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm Flavis. So how does my faith influence my finances? First of all, I'm a child of God. So how does my faith influence? Yeah, I'm a child of God, and the Bible says that all I have is given to me by God. And he says that, so which means that everything I have financially belongs to God. And any achievement I want to make in my life, any business or any deal I want to get into, God is the first. He is in front of everything. And secondly, I believe that because he is my God, and
gratitude is a wonderful concept, a tool of life. It's vital to feel grateful, to acknowledge the blessings of our life, to acknowledge the goodness. That's what life is about. And I really thank you so much for bringing that concept.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I forgot I had the camera on.
It's all right.
But listen now.
I just love the enthusiasm. I love when people really get the idea and share the idea. And then we all are enjoying the fruit of the sharing of our ideas, because we all have something to offer. We all have experiences and gifts.
Miss, if anyone had something they wanted to share, or you could type it in the chat. Okay, so who would like to present kind of our discussion for, we seem to touch on the same themes, so I think it's pretty easy to cover. But yeah, see, Alex is saying we end in 3 minutes. So who would like to represent our class and do a presentation? And we'll take the next couple minutes and we can give ideas for what we would, to help the person know what to present. if they have any questions about what they want to present. Okay. They've been very articulate. Anyone who's spoken so far could be the one to do it. Daniel, do you want to speak for our group?
I would have loved to speak, but I'm afraid my internet may not, you know, we don't have stable network here. It goes off and on. Otherwise, I would have loved to do it.
Yeah, well, right now it's working fine. How about if we say you're going to do it, and then I need someone to be his backup so that if his cable goes out, someone else will step in.
I'll be his backup.
Perfect.
I mean, it's okay.
Wonderful.
I'll do it.
Wonderful. Okay, you'll do it. And if the cable,
Yeah.
if it happens, which I don't think it will, because I think I have faith that your cable is going to work for you to just talk for a couple minutes on our behalf. But if it does, Epeti, am I saying your name right?
Yes, Epeti.
Epeti will step right in so we don't lose time for our session. How's that? Okay, and both of you definitely spoke well for us and already kind of understand. Anything else anyone can think of that they want to make sure is in our report? Our breakout room is closing in 56 seconds. It was really good talking with you all. Very quickly though, how is this? This is the end of our second, we're towards the end of the second session. How is this going for you? What do you think about the classes so far?
It's
Any
great.
suggestions?
It's great.
Okay, good. Anybody else have comments? You can even put them in chat if you wanted to. Any other thoughts or questions about the class so far? What you think? Okay.
No, for me, it was okay.
Okay.
It was okay.
Well, we're gonna get deep into each topic going forward. So, okay, we've got 11 seconds, so we should leave the breakout so that we're ready to go with the reports. All right, and we've got Daniel's gonna do our report.
Just pull the cable,
Talking of my faith in my finances, I think that my finances belongs to God, first of all. Secondly, I need to use my finances to assist humanity. Thirdly, I need to be honest with my finances. And I also need to be grateful to God for providing those finances, though I'm using my efforts. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
All right, welcome back everyone. I hope you enjoyed your breakout session again. I had a chance to go to the different rooms. There was a lot of lively conversation, so it was great. A couple of other things that I want to mention is that the energy that is in this group, despite all the challenges, we know that we take a lot of things for granted here in US, including our electricity, internet, everything works very well most of the time. But then I know Victor, he's been telling me that power has been out where he lives at least. The other day we were having a planning meeting and he was sitting in the dark. It was late at night. I thought he had the lights off because of his family. He said, no, there is no power here. So it's amazing the amount of energy that we get from all around the world. I wish, and I always tell this to everyone, I wish our friends here in the US, we did have a few registrations from US, but at least they have not had the chance to participate, but we see that we have friends from India, a lot of friends from Africa, from other parts of the world that had signed up. Maybe they had some issues, but they will be able to watch the recording too. So let's go and hear the presentation from the different groups. Jade, you already had your chance. You kind of walked in there talking, your group were talking, so we'll come back to you last.
That's okay.
Would you like to go? Do you guys have a representative that will present? Irma, that's yours. You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
There you go. Okay, you're good now. Oh, all right, go. Hold on. You got muted again.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Great. So I didn't choose a representative. Sorry, I'll do that next time. I was busy trying to notate what everyone was sharing. And our question was, are there other teachings in your faith that relate to financial literacy? And Yvonne brought up the concept of tithing. Tithing is a very important concept in Christianity, especially the concept of offering 10% of your income and giving that back as it's not a gift, it's a tithe. It's something that is enjoined for Christians to do. And that was a very wonderful concept. Also, the teaching, the story of the master who gives a certain amount of resources to each of his workers, and how one of them decided that he was not going to work the gift, that he was going to hide the gift. And we talked a little bit about what that gift would be in a metaphor, perhaps. It could be your potential, your potential that God has given you. Do you hide your potential? Do you just leave it dormant? Or do you take your potential and work for it to be the best that it could be? And that was a wonderful concept. Juliana, she decided that she wanted to listen to what everyone else was sharing with this. So Lucky was explaining about helping others and giving to others, serving others as a faith-based teaching. Alan was also sharing about knowledge, how knowledge is a great gift to share with others. That's a faith-based teaching. And we talked briefly about the scripture that said people may perish for the lack of knowledge, and how vital the knowledge is in our going through life and doing the best that we can do. Daniela shared with us the concept of gratitude, and I thought that was a very beautiful concept, how gratitude must always be in our lives, to acknowledge the gifts and acknowledge the blessings of our lives. And we had a very wonderful discussion.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Nari, your group?
Hi, our group ended up having a really good discussion around the practical aspects of faith. And Daniel is going to give our report on what we talked about.
I think we lost Daniel. No, he's here. Let's see. He might have the technical difficulty. I think Epity was going to be back up. Let's see if I can.
Can you hear me?
Hello, everyone.
Yes,
Daniel
yeah.
is.
No, Daniel's there.
Daniel is there.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, Daniel, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss at our group section. We had a fruitful discussion, and the discussion is about how our faith is connected to our finances. And what we did agree is that our faith has a great deal of role to play in our finances. And we agree that in our finances, we should be faithful, we should be honest, we should be sincere and committed to what we do. All of these are flowing from our finances because we believe that when you are committed and you are truthful, you are sincere, you are honest, if it is a business you are doing, that will help your business to grow. And when you come to the church, like my sister said, they tell you to give. Except your business grow, you will not have the finances to give. So when your business gives, so when you come to give, actually your giving becomes an expression of your gratitude that God has blessed what you have done. But in doing that, we need the element of trust, commitment, sincerity, and then of course, faithfulness to what we do. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, that was great. Jade, you have someone from your group?
So my group was multiple groups in Cameroon. So I will go ahead and summarize so that it's easy for understanding as opposed to having to pass the camera around. So the question that we responded to was the reverse of Nari's question, right? So Nari's question was, how might someone's finances influence their faith? And we were talking about how has your faith influenced your finances? So starting with the faith and the impact being the finances. And what really resonated with everyone in terms of what they were talking about, how their faith has affected them, was the concept of what is provided to them does not belong to them. And so it comes from the Creator. And they are being used as a vessel to be able to share and bless others. And so really that pass-through mechanism of their body being provided with blessings, and those blessings being passed on to others, and their financial decisions really showing that they are allowing that process to happen.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. We got 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Victor, do you want to do another energizer, or should we just take the 5-minute break? Everyone takes a 5-minute break and then we come back.
We'll not take an energizer for now. Just pull the cable. We have some coffee that we want to take over here. Okay. Sorry, not everybody will be able to take the coffee because only us here on site will be able to take that. So let's take the 5 minutes, just grab coffee, and then we'll get back together.
What kind of arrangement is this? You only have coffee for yourself. We need coffee. Okay, all right. So we're taking a 5-minute break. We're taking a 5-minute break. We'll be back in 5 minutes, guys.
Okay.
Enjoy your break. Thank you.
Please let's rush and get coffee.
Yep.
I wanna be famous, talk of the world. I wanna live a good life, that's all I want. Cause it's my birthday. Without you, I won't see today. I want you to bless me today. Tomorrow, promise no birthday. Cause it's my birthday. I want you to bless me today. Without you, I won't see today. Tomorrow, promise no birthday. Bless me today. What took me long to be long? But taking your only banquet, I don't do wrong. That I've done. me fool me, they can come in my eardrum lately. Baba, akiwa kufomo shishi, I go appreciate that lately. In this cold lights, I live fire burning me. Let it choke, let it smoke on my agony. Show me that God shape my story to a mystery. Carrying you for no something I don't know. Limini you, limini motata. Limini you, limini motata. Limini for the shisha, for the one way you taste out tata. Limini motata. Limini quiere yo te señor. Atara música. If I meet my brother down, let me not forget to slow down. Shouldn't cleanse around my father, let him not confuse my name. Oh. When it's cold, I shall leave fire burning me. Let it choke, let it smoke on my agony. Show me that God shape my story to a mystery. Letting you for no something I don't know. Limini motata. Limini motata. For the shisha, for the one way you taste out tata. Limini motata. For my boko, they call me a chapo, and I see Kaya we are there so. Be a miles, no be a power. Reason number one, I say I the prayer. The positivity man the kada. Man non kanga proper insequata. Tranquilité make a man seko proper. J'avais la foi et la détermination. Yahweh m'a montré la voie. You give a choose. Any soudé pour passer casser réussir c'est un choix, brother.
Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone, to the third hour of today's session. One thing I was thinking about is like, would it be, I mean, I'm sure it will happen eventually. It would be great when we are all together somewhere in a central location in person. And we're doing this right now. We're going through this a little fast. But when we are doing the program, usually in person with particularly children in primary schools, it's such a joy. There's so much interaction and I can't wait. Hopefully we get to travel to different parts of the world and do this in person together. So I'm going to share my screen. The next hour or this hour in the program is the lesson plan from our basic level, Human Treasures. So if you have your online worksheet, you can go to the table of content and go ahead and open your Human Treasures. And for our friends in Cameroon, you also should have these similar paper. So this is the page we're starting with. It's called Human Treasures. And Irma is going to present this session. Irma, please go ahead. You have the floor.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you're good now. We can hear you now.
Great. Great. So today, this lesson will regard our human treasures. And what I really enjoy about our program is that it interweaves, you know, the things that we've talked about already, it all relates together, and it's really wonderful to see this. First of all, we're going to read a couple of readings, scriptural readings, and because my screen, because I have pictures over here, I'm going to ask Nari, can you read that first reading there at the top, please?
You're muted now.
Sure, no
There you go.
problem. Okay. Regard man as a mind rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasure and enable mankind to benefit therefrom. Baha'u'llah.
Great. And Alex, can you read the second one, please?
Sure. It says, this is from Buddha. It says, just as treasures are uncovered from the earth, so virtue appears from good deeds, and wisdom appears from a pure and peaceful mind. To walk safely through the maze of human life, one needs the light of wisdom and the guidance of virtue.
Excellent. So these readings are telling us how we have these wonderful gifts that are so valuable that you can't even put a price on it. That we are born with these gifts. We have this human potential that we can look and see and decide, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with these beautiful gifts? How will these gifts help us in attaining, you know, a better life, the best life possible? So today we want to learn how character traits affect our financial affairs. So as you can see here, we have the life of a diamond. And this is a great illustration of how we have a gift. And it might look like this little rock that you see, the very first picture. It shows a rough stone. It doesn't look anything like a diamond. When you're looking at it, it just looks like a rock. And you're not really sure, is this really something that could be valuable? Because it's in its raw form, it's rough. So as you get this rock and you start chipping away the things that you don't need around the diamond, the valuable part, which means that you really need to do some work. We need to work and take away the things that are not necessary, or work and try to get the diamond out of this rough stone. And as you go on and you see how diamonds are developed from a rough stone, as you go on, and you can see that then eventually you will see the diamond in a different form. You will see that now you can see through it. Now you can see that it has the potential to be something even more beautiful. And once you start polishing and cutting the stone, and you start really taking away anything that doesn't belong on the diamond, and you start really just getting to the very best part of that diamond, everything is cut away, everything is polished. And once you apply the light to a beautiful diamond, then you have the highest form of this diamond. You start with a stone, you polish and cut, and now you can see as you apply the light, it's a beautiful gem that has a great value. When you got it as a rough stone, you really couldn't see the value in it. But now as you have cut and polished it, and now apply the light, you can see that you have developed from a stone a beautiful diamond. So this is how our lives can be seen. We can see that we have a potential, that we have a treasure, or many treasures. And now let's look at how our character traits or our treasures can affect our financial affairs. As we look at this listing here where it says my hidden treasures, we can see a whole list of treasures that people have as characteristics, and you can see which and decide which are strong in you and which ones you would like to work on. I was talking.
Irma, can I interrupt? Before we go into that, let's put a couple of questions in the chat so we get some participation. So the first question is that, are we born rich? What do you think? Before we start describing these character traits, who thinks we are born rich? And what does it mean to be born rich?
Yes, please give that some thought. Are you born rich?
And the way we phrase it, pay attention to it. It doesn't say where we born rich, meaning that at the time of birth, were we born rich? Or the question is, are we born rich? Which implies that we were born rich and we're still rich. So let's see if we get some questions on that. So we got from Faith, yes, we are born rich in potentials. All right, okay, that's one response we got. From friends in Cameroon, they said we're all born with innate richness. Yep. Dreeth, thank you so much for joining us from San Diego. She says, yes, we are born rich with possibilities. You know, right? Very good. So the next question I'm going to pose is, as Irma was getting into our hidden treasure, so these are our character traits in here. My question, I'm going to put it in here, is everyone born with all these character traits? So do we have all of them? Do we have some of them? I like Alan's response. We are born in God's image. Exactly. According to scriptures, we don't know what God looks like. We can never imagine or even comprehend, but we know him by his attributes. He's that unknowable essence, but we know that he's the all-knowing, the all-wise, the all-merciful, the all-generous. I think this is from Daniel that says, I totally agree that we are born rich because we have been endowed with talents and gifts. All right, I think we got our answers, Irma. So
very, very good. And all of those answers are excellent because yes, we are born with so much potential, so much possibility, so much hope, so much that we can do in our lives because of the gifts that we have been given. Now, we should look at our treasures, our hidden treasures, and do this little thinking exercise here, where you might want to see which ones of these treasures are you strong in, and which ones do you need to work on to make them stronger. I would like everyone to look at this listing and give it some thought. Which ones are strong in you and which ones would you like to work on to make them stronger?
So maybe what we can do for our friends that have the printed copy, they can maybe circle the ones that they feel that are strong, and then maybe put a check mark next to the ones that as we're continuing to talk. And if anyone is using the worksheet, you can do this. If you click on the arrow next to any of the character traits, you can select them. Either this is something that's in me, that's in strong, and then something that it needs some work. So this is how it's going. So we have a couple of other comments in the chat. John says we are born rich. Born rich does not mean money, but wisdom and personal attributes. That's one point. Also, Gina from India says, no, we are not born with these character traits. Irma, what do you think? I usually love to share an example, but what do you think? Are we born with all of these?
I think we're born with the possibility of exhibiting these beautiful treasures, but I believe that through life, some of these become stronger and some of them need work. So this is a great exercise. If you have a printed worksheet, circle the ones that are strong, and on the ones that need work, please put a check mark. I know that my personal work is probably patience. I think I need the most work on patience. I would have a big check mark on that one. But I would be able to circle, or I would be able to say strong on others. So everyone take a moment to please think about your gifts or your treasures and decide which ones you need to work on and which ones are strong.
So the other way I like to present is that, and that's why we use the metaphor of a diamond and in a rock. So the diamond is inside the rock. It's created with that diamond inside of it, but we cannot see it. But it's there, the potential is there and it comes out. So also, if you look at it, every single one of us have all of these potentials. We can be kind, we can be loving, we can be patient. It's something that's within us, but needs to be developed and discovered and comes out. They are completely different than, let's say, talents. Not everyone is born with all the talents. I thought I had a good voice, but it did not work. So I gave up singing, even in the shower. I don't even do that anymore. But then if you look at it, everyone has the capacity to be punctual on time. And then look at our program today. We said we will start right on time, and we've been doing very good keeping track of time. So we do that, but we also have a tendency to not do that. We could have started late a little bit, saying that, oh, we need to wait for more people. But no, we said we can be punctual. We can be honest at all times. Where is honesty? Honesty is somewhere around here. But unfortunately, our society does not help us, or does not, this is what is happening. We are not being encouraged to be honest. It doesn't matter where we live in the world. So we have a couple of comments. Irma, can you see the comments, or should I read them?
I would like to read Lucky's.
Okay.
I think she said, I think we are not born with these traits, but rather the ability to adapt and change and develop or become better at some. I think that's really excellent. A very good response. Go ahead, Alex. You can read Alan from Uganda.
Okay. All right. Alan says, everybody has a dose of these character traits. What happens is that some traits are hidden and we don't even attempt to nourish them. Some traits we nurture and grow them, and hence perceive that we only have a few traits. I believe every human was created complete. And that's true. If we believe that we are created in God's image, that's what it means, that we have all of these character traits. And this is just a small set of these characters. There's unlimited character traits that we don't even know about. All right, Irma, I think we need to continue on.
Okay, yes. So as you can see, next to my treasure, there is a little space there. If you have an online workbook, it's a little yellow box that Alex is pointing at. And this you can put the character trait that you would like to work on most. Mine's patience. Yes. Thank you, Alex. And for those of you that have a worksheet printed, you can write in the character trait that you want to work on. You can work on that, and you can have that written so you can look back on it, and you can keep it in mind and work on it more diligently. We have an example here of a strong man, and the body has approximately 640 muscles. And what happens if you do not work those muscles? They get very weak. You get flabby. You can't move like you should. Your body doesn't function at its optimum level. And so it's just like working out. You would like to make patience, for my part, I would like to make my patience treasure really strong. And then you can see how you can write these down, and you can write down what you would like to make strong, and you can work and develop that treasure so that you can be stronger in that specific area of your life.
So the figure, the muscle figure that you're seeing, this is in the printed workbook. So for those who are attending online, the way to get to this is to I have too many windows open. I need another screen. So from the table of content, if you go to the basic level facilitator manual, and then you go to the printable versions, and once you go to the English folder, and I'm gonna open up this. So in here, that figure, that picture is in the ABCs of Wealth, the basic level, in the workbook, in the WB. This is the file we were looking at. So for anyone, and this is what we use mainly in our in-person sessions, particularly at schools. As Irma mentioned, we have so many muscles that are hidden within us. And these character traits are like our spiritual muscles. So we have physical muscles, and then we also have spiritual muscles, or the muscles of our mind, depending on whether we can talk about spirituality in where we present a program, which often we cannot do at schools. We mentioned them as the muscles of our mind. So everyone can think about which muscles they have that are strong, which muscles they have that they need to work on. So I prepared we'll start the breakout rooms a little sooner today so we can finish up on time. So I think everybody has the questions for the breakout sessions, which talks about the connection between finances and these character traits. Let me just make sure that everything is good. I'm gonna swap the facilitators between the room. I need to, so Irma, if you have something to talk about, please go ahead and do while I take care of the.
So if we keep in mind that the physicality of working out and making the effort to become stronger requires effort, consistency, and just work. It relates the same way to our human treasures, our characteristics. We consistently need to work on those things to be stronger. And we have to put effort and focus in order to make those characteristics that we need to be stronger, make them stronger by working on them, just like working out. So it just relates very similarly to both of those dynamics.
All right.
Alex?
Yes, I'm ready with the, let me just do a quick check. All right, so here we go with the breakout rooms. We'll take 15 minutes and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Enjoy your breakout session.
Okay. All right. Can everyone hear me? Can you wave your hand if you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Before
Can
we
you
get
can you see us?
yes, yes, before we get started, I would like one volunteer who will present what we discussed in our breakout room session. Can I have a volunteer, please? Victor, do you want to choose a volunteer? I can't hear you.
I said there are more ladies than men here, so we'll pick Deborah. Deborah, are you up for it? No, what we're going to discuss here.
Okay, let me give you our question. Is everybody listening? Great. The question is, which of your human characteristics do you need to further develop to better manage your finances? I would like everyone to tell me which of your human characteristics do you need to further develop to better manage your finances. I'll give you a minute to think about it, and then everyone can participate and offer your ideas about this question. I'm going to repeat it. Which of your human characteristics
is to be able to deal with money, let's say pay tithe, pay your fast food, not get into trouble with other people. It would take patience, let's say, to wait for a project or salary. So it's like you can go down on the whole list, and these characters will still be affecting it in a different way.
Awesome, Lucky, exactly. Even something as simple as patience. If you're not patient, then you are more likely to spend money that you aren't supposed to spend. You're not going to be as willing to save, those kinds of things. Let's see, somebody put something in the chat. Dree said, when we think we can, we will. So, you know, if one of your character traits you're strong in is determination, you're more likely to maybe hit more of your goals, for instance, because you're more determined. Janam, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a point that each and every trait is related to finance, and that, like for example, trust we take. So we have to trust in customers, or else, like we'll get bankrupt for some instance.
Okay. Now I want to throw another question at you. Do you have any treasure that could be positive or negative, depending on the situation? So think about some of those traits. Maybe it's one that you know you're strong in, but could it be positive or negative depending on the situation? Okay. Janam, is your hand up, still up from before, or is it?
Add that it can be positive or negative. It's
answer the question.
I tend to talk a lot in these type of sessions, but I'll jump in if everyone's quiet. The one that's on, I'm going based on the list that we were looking at, and the one for me that is a challenge is selfishness. Service. And the reason for that is I overcommit, I guess is what it is. It's good to be as you know, to want to help and to volunteer, but it's actually, my husband always says it's a sin to overcommit, where you are now running around and not having that alone time to spend with your family, with God, you know, doing the important stuff. So that's the one that I'm challenging myself to work on in 2021.
Great, thank you for sharing. So in a later lesson, we will be talking about moderation. And I think a lot of what Yvonne was talking about is that concept of moderation and the balance between committing and overcommitting. And so we will learn the impacts that that can have on finances as well. Is there someone else that would like, thank you for sharing, Yvonne. Is there someone else that would like to share a treasure that they see can either be positive or negative, depending on the situation?
Yes, for me, that treasure would be compassion, because sometimes you see people and you really think they need help, but you end up being taken advantage of. And so for me, I really need to be in a position where I can actually see where there is a real need, as opposed to just, feeling for others when they just want to take advantage of you. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Faith. I definitely can agree and see that someone's compassion can be used in a negative way or can be received and taken advantage of. I'm going to challenge Juliana, who I think is our youngest member of our group. Is there a trait that you, a human treasure, a trait that you have that you can see being used in a negative way or used in a positive way?
We have to stay in a limit. So like we have to be in a balanced thing. So if we trust or if we be generous above the limit, and if we have to balance it out, so that makes us be in a limit. And
Okay, that's good. John Paul, you want to unmute?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the tributes that I'm just trying to, can you repeat that question again?
Listen, there's another volunteer who wants to share. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Be audible, very audible, so she can.
Okay, I'm Flavis. We talk about the challenge I have is courage and diligence. And I think that for me to be able to be courageous to begin with, is that I have to understand that failure, that means doing something and fail, is not a problem. So I have to be correct. I have to come to a point of understanding that if I'm doing something and I'm not able to get it once, if I continue to do it, I might get it. So it should not stop me from doing what I have to do. Then secondly, about diligence. I realize that it comes to a point where I just do things. I don't really take my time to do what I have to do. As you just earlier say, talk about patience. I need to be able to do things well, not just doing them, but do it well, not just finishing, but finish it well. So I think that I need to calm myself down and learn how to do things well and orderly, so that I'll be diligent, not just doing things anyhow.
Okay. Okay, that's great.
Excellent, excellent. Please continue, please. I would love to hear more of you participate, and because when you speak about it and you put it out there, then now you know you are committed to doing it. You're committing yourself to doing it. Any more ideas?
Speak loud, very loud.
My own, I'm to stay, and my challenge is consistency and tolerance. And for now, I understand that for me to really be consistent in everything I'm doing, I will need to write every day always write it. It will help me to be consistent in whatever I'm doing. About tolerance, I should try to read more and understand how people behave, why they behave like that, and why I faced some failures in the past, and how can I do for me to succeed in all what I have failed. Thank you.
Excellent.
So,
Chance and perseverance. For me, I know that I have to work on how much patience I have to give up. Because at one point, like it just becomes tiring, exhausting, and
Did you have any comments, Prudence? Okay, John Paul, your hand's still up. You've got like 10 seconds because we're about to have to leave our breakout. John Paul? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Who
just
want-
I'm
sorry.
trying to get to that part.
Yeah, no problem.
Quickly. Okay, so who wants to, Dree, make sure to keep a balance. And so who would like to be our reporter for this lesson? And Dree, I was actually gonna ask if you wanted to, since you were Epity was our backup last time. Yes, so I do have a different group. Okay, we have to leave. Who wants to do our report? Dree, would you like to do the report for us? For our lesson? Our discussion? You want to report back? Great. Okay. It's we're about to leave the breakout room. See you guys in a second.
all right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a great breakout. Again, it seems like there was a lot of great conversation going between the participants. Seems like we've lost a few or are coming back. So I know people kind of go in and out. But again, thank you so much for sticking with the program. I know being in front of a computer for 3 hours is not easy, but unfortunately or fortunately, we're all getting used to it. So let's start with Jade, your group. Would you guys like to share?
Okay, great. So in our group, we answered the question of, do you have any treasures that can be positive or negative depending on the situation? How can you focus them in a positive direction? So really going through kind of the list of hidden treasures that Irma was presenting on and seeing which ones can be both negative and positive depending upon a situation. And we had some great feedback from people that wanted to share. So first was Yvonne in Canada that said service, right? And she talked about how providing service to others, if you are overcommitted, then it could be seen as a negative thing, because while you might be doing good by providing service, you might not be providing the level of service equal that you would be able to do if you weren't overcommitted. So obviously providing service is a good thing, but if you overcommit yourself, it can be seen as a bad thing. We had Faith in Zimbabwe talk about compassion and talked about having compassion for others, but also if you are too compassionate, you can be taken advantage of. And so that could possibly be negative depending upon the situation, if some people see your compassion as a sign of weakness. And Daniel in Nigeria talked about tolerance and how being tolerant is a positive thing. However, if people see you as being over tolerant, it could be a negative thing. And lastly, we had Alan in Uganda talk about assertiveness. And that really kind of honed in on the fact that we had people from all over the world and how different cultures can receive assertiveness. And so here in the US, assertiveness might be seen as something that is strong and empowerment, but there's a lot of cultures all around the world that being assertive might not be received as those same positive attributes. And so that, I think that one really kind of struck, especially because we had such a dynamic group from people all over the world with different cultures. And so really kind of processing how it might be received in their particular environments and their cultures where they are.
All right, very cool. Thank you so much. All right. Irma, you had the group in person in Cameroon.
Yes, and we had Deborah, who was part of the group, who was going to, get all of the responses and answer the question, which was, which of your human characteristics do you need to further develop to better manage your finances? So I'm going to give the floor to Deborah, so she can share with us.
Okay, from our discussions, I didn't really have time to take down their names, but I'm just going to discuss them based on the percentage, because most of them have the same ideas, like they have the same notion. So on the aspect of, some of them talk on consistency. 90% of the participants were talking on consistency. As a business person, you need to be consistent no matter the challenges that come. You might be tempted to stop, but you need to be consistent. You need to build up that characteristic of consistency to move on no matter what. And then majority of them also talk on courageous. You need to be courageous, because in life we face challenges, hurdles. So if you are that kind of person who is just vulnerable, shy, you are going to give up so easily. So you need to be courageous to face the society, to face your career, to face your business. And also they were talking of patience. When you plant a seed, it takes time to grow and bring out fruit. So in business, when you want to grow well, it don't just happen automatically. It takes time. It's a gradual process. So you need to have that patience to build it up gradually. And then they equally talk about punctuality. You need to be punctual. You need to be disciplined in everything you do. When you set a time, you set standards, you set things that you are supposed to do, you need to be disciplined in order to carry them successfully. And others talk about creativity. Now, in the world, you want to make yourself at least different from others, your business, your brand. So you need creativity. You need to come out with something that other people don't have in order to make your business unique. So creativity is very important to develop well. You need to be creative, something that will attract the population to you. And then they were also talking about self-discipline and reliability. You need to be reliable. Yes, when somebody looks at you, your profile, you need to be reliable in such a way that somebody can easily get to you. So that's what we've been discussing so far. Thank you very much.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. That was a great report. Nari, you're up.
All right. So Dree is going to give the report for our group. Oh, unmute, Dree.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so on the first question, it was about the different traits that we hold. And the one that I chose was trust. I can't remember the other one that was chosen, but sometimes I can trust too much. You're supposed to want to trust people on a whole, but sometimes I have to ask for discernment. Like, okay, when do I need to stop? Because that carries over into your finances as well. Because if you can't trust your thoughts on how to put your money, how to save your money and things like that, it kind of puts you in a hole, a lull. And I think the other person was talking about I can't remember what it was. I kind of got off track listening. I'm sorry, but it was, everything is about you can just making sure that you can move forward with the different characteristics that you have and the hidden treasures that you have. And the second question was what was the second question? I can't remember.
It was how we focus our treasures to keep us on a positive side, since we know sometimes, depending on what the characteristic is, there could be a negative side to it. So how can we focus ourselves to keep it on the positive side?
Okay, and that's really hard, because in life you have to balance the mind, the body, and the spirit. And if you balance them all, then it allows you to excel to different levels and know focusing on myself. I always forget to put self first. I always want to put other people after first, which means when it comes down to saving my money, I'm not putting my money first. I need to pay me first to know that I can get my finances to a level to where I can help other people. Like on the plane, they say if you can't put your mask on first, then you can help other people. So helping self is not selfish. You have to be able to take care of yourself so you can help other people. That's what I got out of it. Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, everyone. So as you can see, there's a lot that can be discussed and shared. And going back to where we started this morning, is that we are just scratching on the surface. The topic of financial education, there is no way we can cover that in this 12 hours that we would be spending together during the month of May. It's a lifetime journey, especially since the finances, every day it becomes more and more a global challenge and also a global endeavor. We are working together, we are paying each other, we are doing, it doesn't matter where we are holding these type of series to learn about finances. So today we presented the first two concepts. Just a review of what we've done today. We did the faith and finances in the second hour, where we looked at how we can and we should align our finances and spirituality together. This hour, we looked at how we are born rich with abundance of character traits or human treasures that we need to develop and continue to working on them. So I want to touch upon where we're going to go for next week and some of the assignments that you need to be working on during the week. I'm going to share my screen. And again, just as we started this morning, we talked about the importance of doing the actual work. So during this 3 hours, we listened to each other, we looked at each other, we looked at what was presented on the screen. Now the next two stages is that to complete the assignments, which the first one that we needs to be completed. So when you come to your worksheet, again, for those who arrive a little later, everyone should have a link to their online worksheet. If you did not receive it, please send us a message through WhatsApp or any other or email. We'll make sure that you have access to this worksheet. All the assignments you'll be completing on these worksheets. For our friends in Cameroon who are attending in person, you did some on your papers, but it would be great to also do them on the online worksheets. And the way these worksheets work is that you just type in your responses. So like there is a question in here, I'm going to scroll up. So we ask, what is the miracle of a single flower? You just type in your responses and the system saves it automatically. There is no button to save, there is nothing. And these are shared worksheets. So as you type in your responses, we get to see them here, or the facilitators get to see them here. And if you have questions about the program, you can post them in there. Completing these assignments is required for anyone who would be requesting to receive a certificate of completion. If you do not see your assignments done, if you cannot see it, we will ask you to do it, to complete them. The 12-hour that we're presenting right now, that is the going through the material itself that we can implement in our lives. In June, we will be having a trainer session for those who would like to take this material and present it to their communities, to other people, because our staff, Mindtree staff, our resources are limited, but this is an education that is needed for everyone. So we will be we'll be holding more sessions on how to actually present these. But first you have to learn it yourself and then implement it in your lives. So the initial goals was the first assignments that you saw. Then human treasures, that's the exercise we just completed. So deciding what character traits you need to make them stronger or what needs work. selecting one in the yellow box that you need to work on really hard. Then on the online worksheets, you have, as you discussed, how do these character traits play a role in our finances? So you'll be complete. So you will pick a character trait in here, and then you write down, I need to be patient to receive my pocket money or to receive money from work. So these are the two assignments for this week that needs to be completed. I want to stop here and let open up the chat to see if anyone has any question about what we've done so far before I give also the assignment for next week. Anybody has any question, you can either unmute yourself if it's quick, or put it in the chat. So if you have any questions about these, again, after the program, if you have any questions, we do have the WhatsApp group that you can send direct messages, and I'll actually open up the WhatsApp group so everybody can post to the group if they have questions and so forth. All right, I don't see anything in here. All right, so for next week, all right, so there's a question. We have to complete the initial goals and human treasure sheets, right? Yes, that is for this session. So that's what you have to do for here. And then what you're seeing on the screen are the 3 topics that we'll be presenting next Monday. So next Monday, we'll be presenting patience, which is about setting goals in life, personal, family, and individual goals. We'll be talking about passive and active and passive income. We'll begin to talk about moderation, which is the foundation of our budgeting, how we create a balance between different activities in life, whether it's our time, whether what we eat, or how much we spend, how much we save. We'll be talking about that. And then the last hour next Monday is going to be our responsibility to ourselves, to our family, and to our community in the throughout the world. So again, because financial education is not specific to any group or any location in the world, it's a global endeavor, and we need to all work together to help everyone. So I'm going to go back to the online worksheet so you can see. If I come back to the table of content, the next 3 lessons that we'll be presenting are these: patience for next week, moderation, and responsibility and accountability. I will put all of these, I will send the assignments through the WhatsApp group. So just in case if anyone missed, the recording will be available. I think it's going to take some time to process because it's 3 hours of recording. It will take some time, but we will send the link for anyone who couldn't participate or who missed part of the presentation today. But if you want to start to work on the lesson plans for next week, you'll start with patience. So if you go to patience, I'm just going to show a little bit of how it works. So in the patience, we are setting goals. So for example, today I'm setting the date as today is 5/3, I believe, May 3rd. Let's say if I want to buy an iPhone. So I record the iPhone in here. I can look up the price of how much it costs to buy an iPhone. I can go through the web and find a picture, because it's always good to visualize what is it that I'm buying. I decide how long is it going to take me to save up the 1,000. What is my plan of action? Let's say if I'm going to do some extra work. And then what is it that I'm willing to sacrifice? If I play too much video game, I'm willing to sacrifice some of my video games time. And then the purpose, why do I want the latest iPhone? Is it just because my friends have it, so I can show off to them that I have an iPhone too? Or no, this will really help my business. If I'm starting a business or something, or my phone is like really dead, I need to buy a new one. So you can see how this sheet is completed. If you can, again, this is exercise for next week, and we'll be talking about it. In the same manner, you'll be doing, if you have a family, you'll be setting family goals. it's great to have the families to have some goals in there. So I'll just stop there. I'll put the other assignments in the WhatsApp group. Let's see, any questions? And again, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Really appreciate everyone's patience. This was a trial. Again, this was the first time that we were doing a hybrid model of both online and friends in person. Really appreciate Juliana for sticking with the program for 3 hours. I know it's not easy to be in front of computer for 3 hours, but thank you so much to the Lloyd family in South Africa. Thank you so much for everyone dialing in from all around the world. There were other people who were registered. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe they had some technical difficulties. I hope they did not forget. Any last minute words from our staff? Jade?
Yes, Alex, I received a question saying, can you please post the WhatsApp login again? Maybe if you could do it in the chat. I don't know if you have a link to that.
Who did it come from? Because most people are already on the WhatsApp.
That question came from Dree in San Diego.
Yeah, Dree didn't. Okay, all right, I will send it. I'll post the link. So if you guys have anything to...
She says, thank you.
No problem. If I know she wasn't. Okay, Nari, Irma, any closing thoughts before? I do have a closing prayer. No other thoughts? Wow, everyone. Okay, so I just put the link for the WhatsApp group. If anyone is not participating in that, please go ahead and do so. Irma, you have your mic open.
No, I hope that everybody is patient with us throughout this, because we've never done this format before. So if anyone has any, from my part, any suggestions on how the pacing of the lesson is going, if we're, we're making ourselves understood adequately, and if you have any suggestions, please let us know.
Victor, any thoughts from you from the your group?
Yeah, we're quite excited. It's been a very, very heavy task for us. First, there wasn't light since morning. Then like 30 minutes to start, then we had lights. So we just had to rush, tumble, and do stuff, and some equipment were not coming, but we participated. Then the issue of bandwidth, it was not fully, 100%, but we managed through. And I think the whole group here, we already start 20 people, but we're here like 14 with one person online, 15. I think it's a good start. We want to say thank you from over here. And if you look at me, actually, let me see if my video, we actually made t-shirts, and you have the, okay, you can look at me.
Oh.
All of us, we have our t-shirts, Allied Africa on one side and Mind Treasures on the other side.
Wow.
We would just say thank you so much. It's a huge initiative that we all are collaborating and doing, and we believe it's going to impact a lot of lives, not just us, the participants, but even our work and our families and our community. I don't know if any other participant has something they want to say. Somebody has something they want to say? Okay, Flavius. Yeah, go ahead, Flavius.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for this program.
Okay.
For the training, it has really been, it was a good training. I've learned a lot of things. And I want to say thank you for the effort, and also thank you for aligning yourself and allowing God to use you to be a source of blessing to us. So in a nutshell, I just want to say thank you, and may God continue to enlighten you, continue to give you the strength and grace to impact more lives. Thank you.
So, Alex?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes, I'm here.
Before you go, we'd want to clap the African clap. Okay, that's our last energizer. Ima, Jade, are you there?
Yes,
Okay,
I am here.
Yeah, we have a 3-level clap. The first level is called the Atama. It's 1 clap. The second level is called the Labako. It's 3 claps. It's 5 claps, sorry. And the third level is called the Tabalina. It's 10 claps. So just be with us as we do the African clap. Okay, so Atama, Atama, Labako, Labako, Tabalina. Wait, okay. I hope you got it over there.
Well, we need some practice, but I think we got it. by the end of the program, we'll definitely get.
For sure.
So really appreciate. And again, throughout the week, I know that the team in Cameroon is going to work together. Please, I forgot to mention, this is information that we need to share with other people. Anyone that you come across, crosses your path, whether friends, family, please share about the program, what you have learned. We will be doing more. I know Victor is planning on doing this on a regular basis, and we'll try to support as much as we can. For everyone else, also whoever can organize groups of 15 or more, we can do these programs as much as we have resources available. Our resources are also limited, but we can definitely do so. So I want to close with a prayer, particularly for the still challenges that's happening throughout the world, especially in India. I know we have Gina from India in here. If you have been watching the news, COVID's still raging in India and other parts of the world. So pull up a healing prayer, which reads, "Thy name is my healing, O my God, and remembrance of thee is my remedy. Nearness to thee is my hope, and love for thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing and my succor in both this world and the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise." Have a great week, guys. Enjoy your time, do your assignments, and then we'll see you guys next Monday, same time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Okay.
Thanks for such a great session.
Thank you. Thank you, John. See you later.